the first time ever, ASEAN nations. We got the Philippines, we got Thailand, and finally, we got Vietnam. I feel like if you watch my vlog through Thailand on this channel, you might be like, oh, visits one Southeast Asian country, and now we get Countryballs. Believe it or not, I had these designed before I even visited that area. I made the Countryballs, and then I was like, huh, I should probably visit these places. In terms of my prediction on which one is going to be more popular, I actually have no idea. Like, I know that I have a lot of Filipino viewers, but Vietnam generally is a very popular country just because of its association with America and the whole war like over 50 years ago. But then there's Thailand. Thailand is one of the most visited places on all of Earth. It's actually funny because all three of these places are hot tourist destinations nowadays, but of course Bangkok is number one. That is the most visited city. I guess leave your votes down below on which one you think is going to sell the best, because I don't have any idea. If I had to make a guess, maybe I would say the Philippines. Filipino pride goes hard. It's funny because these three countries already kind of have like a tourism rivalry going on right now, like competing for people to come visit their country. So I think this is going to tell us a lot about who's actually winning that war. You know the drill. Head over to makeshift.com. These are all the lost Countryballs that are stuck in purgatory that will never be able to come out again. So definitely don't miss your chance right now to get these Asian Countryballs, because they will eventually be gone forever, and then people cry and I can't bring them back, and it's so sad. Just scrolling through this list, man, it is so crazy how many Countryballs we've already brought to life, and we're still going. So yeah, check that link down below to makeshift.com. I'm amazed! You two defeating Europe imperialistings by yourselves. Did you have prior experience fighting imperialists before? None's at all, says Vietnam. We went through cleverness, strong, and love for nation. Yes, is true, says Thailand. Cut to not so long ago. Cambodia is of Siam. You filthy pseudo. Not gonna say that. No, is my province, you elephant fricker. Alright, well that got really graphic. Essentially, we're talking about the historical wars between Siam and Vietnam. Or Thailand and Vietnam. Remember, not too long ago, Thailand was known as Siam. They literally only changed it less than 100 years ago, right before World War II, in fact. It's the old Thai flag, and this is an old version of the de facto Vietnam here, and they're both fighting over, well, basically Cambodia. Now, these conflicts mostly took place back during the 18th and 19th century. The results of all these wars just continued to go back and forth. Sometimes Siam won, sometimes Vietnam won. That is until the French decided to break up the brawl and colonize Vietnam. Vietnam, also Cambodia, also Laos. I like this comic a lot because we do have our three Countryballs that I decided to go with here for this Countryboll plushie drop. We got the Philippines, Vietnam, and Thailand. Keep in mind though, the Philippines do not say that both of these countries defeated imperialists through war. The Vietnamese did it through war. Thailand did it entirely diplomatically, and that is what Thailand is most famous for. Probably they were never colonized. They were just diplomatic masterminds. Plus, you know, there was kind of a lot of luck involved. I'm gonna be real. The Europeans loved having this buffer state in between the French Empire and the British Empire. I love this description of the context here. Both happened to just bully Cambodia around for most of their history. I mean, even today, there's a lot of like talks about another war between Thailand and Cambodia. I also forgot to mention these ones that are also in the ball and chain. I guess this is like South Vietnam, and this is now a part of Laos, perhaps? Oh, I see elephants. A historically accurate recreation of the Vietnam War. I don't like you. Click. I give up. War for nerds anyways. That's it. That's the whole war, basically. This is definitely one way to look at it. Obviously, the USA didn't like Vietnam for no reason. They didn't like Vietnam because there was a big communist uprising in those days. I mean, generally speaking, even in the Country Ball universe, the USA ball just doesn't like anything that has like red and a giant star. They know that's the commies. But yeah, I mean, essentially, this was the results. They literally set Vietnam, and to be fair, they set the whole region on fire and then just decided to leave. They definitely did admit to giving up, though. We still probably don't admit to giving up, but we kind of gave up. Again, it's very important to remember that it was also Cambodia that was left on fire, Laos that was left on fire, and then there was other problems with the area expanding because of the Vietnam War. And funny enough, you know what? Us and Vietnam, we actually have a good relationship right now. Vietnam is pretty happy with us. We're currently negotiating tariffs, and I guess Vietnam brought their tariffs from 46 to 20%. They're also talking about buying certain American products. I think they want like corn or something like that. I don't know. They're probably just like, whatever, just give us corn. We'll feed it to the animals. Not sure how you can tell the story of the Vietnam War without including France. Between Libya and Vietnam, the US should be very cautious about any French requests that they step in. Good point. We really got to stop helping the French. Managing international relationships. The ASEAN way. Let's do this thing. Hey, so I think we can make a great new trade bloc. Just need you to drop all your trade barriers and tariffs, okay? Why? Responds Thailand. Most of my rice I sell outside of ASEAN anyways. You shut up where there's no rice for you. Nice, they also have a $25 bow on top. Please lower tariffs on Laos. My oil monies is also not affected, says Brunei. Guys, can we just discuss civilly? Piece of irrelevant clay. Your whole clay is irrelevant. You're lousy, Malau. You're irrelevant. Every morning I wake up and wonder why I ever merged with this idiot. ASEAN trying their best to calm down Singapore and Malaysia. Vietnam, please put the gun down. Can we all just settle down and talk, please? Please stop, brother Cambodia. I might have to pull the trigger. So before you try to ask yourself, do I feel lucky? Well, do ya, Vietnam? That's the Chinese word for Vietnam. I love how Cambodia is just crashing out about removing intellectuals, remove glasses, remove everyone. Okay, to be fair, this is an older reference to the region. Finally, there's ASEAN that has no idea what to do about this whole region too. Wow, so much fun. I didn't know we had so much in common. Next week, I bring West Papa. You bring Shans and Mons? Okay, those are dead. Hey, Pinoy, what's up? I'm taking a siesta because public holiday. Shoo. Can join? Yeah, sure. Why not? The ASEAN way. You'll never fail if you never even bother to try. So again, if you're not familiar, ASEAN is like the European Union of Southeast Asia, but it's very different than the European Union. It's so different. This is just some of the things they have to deal with each individual member. This is why I guess ASEAN is in not as good of a position as the European Union is. Again, this is a reference to like 1979 with the Khmer Rouge and, you know, Pol Pot going crazy and Vietnam had to come in there and stop the whole thing. This is a more recent development. And then I guess because Spain colonized the Philippines, they're now just lazy and taking siestas, just like the Spanish used to do back in the day. Well, just like the Spanish still do. People forget though, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations started all the way back in 1967. Back in those days, it was just Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand though, but they have been expanding and they're apparently about to expand again. East Timor is about to be the newest member, and there's also lots of talks that they might eventually include Papua New Guinea, as well as maybe even Bangladesh. That one is a little bit less likely though. But yeah, they will be bumping up from 10 members to 11 very soon. So funny enough, out of these 3 country balls, only 2 were original members. It took Vietnam a little bit longer to join. What do you do when you see a cockroach? Option 1, you throw everything at it. That's how India does it, throwing the chancla. Option 2, you call pest control. Hello, 911. There's an emergency. Come here ASAP. Or step 3, you what? Tasty. All right. I don't know why they decided to do Thailand so dirty with this one, but yes. I did see cockroaches in Thailand. You could eat them. Now, Thailand is not the only country that has eaten cockroaches before. There's a couple of countries that do it around the world. There's also other countries that eat tarantulas. That one's fascinating. According to the World Population Review website, they have this map that says which countries eat cockroaches in 2025. The US is included. That's got to be a southern thing, right? That's got to be some from like Alabama. But apparently Mexico, Cambodia, Thailand, Japan, and China too. Now, I'm open to a lot of different types of food. That one, no, not so much. I kind of don't even want to bring up what it looks like to eat these types of bugs because it just makes my stomach turn. I think this would have been more accurate for what the USA ball probably would have actually done. The Southeast Asian colonial period. We got the Brits with Malaysia, we got the Netherlands with Indonesia, we got Spain with the Philippines, we got America. Oh, I like how that's a small detail, but this is showing them both have the Philippines. First it was Spain, then we stole the Philippines from them. A few moments later. At last, Malaysia is free. We're finally free of Western influence, says Indonesia. Meanwhile, arriba, amigos. Oh, and the Philippines are holding a cross as well. I think this comic doesn't explain quite enough of basically what's going on here. You might need to be from the Philippines to be able to understand, but the Philippines generally were pretty cool with they definitely were influenced quite heavily by their colonial overrulers, since not only are they speaking Spanish, but they are also holding a Catholic cross. The Filipinos, apparently the Philippines is the most Catholic nation per capita in the entire world, so you could say the Philippines were influenced the most by their colonial rulers like Spain and the USA. However, I gotta say, I don't think I would have included Malaysia for this comic point, because generally speaking, a lot of Malaysians still speak English. That was their colonial master, obviously back in the day. Now, Indonesia, definitely not so much. There are not very many Dutch speakers, as you can imagine, in Indonesia today. I think I read this, there's only like 2,000, something so low. Now, I'm sure Indonesia has other Western influence things that they got from the Dutch or just the Europeans in general, but maybe less so. You know, to be fair, I don't think there's that many French influences that Vietnam still has today. Maybe just they still like macaroons. Hey, it's the annual Cool Asian Cuisines qualifiers. Many sarings, says Thailand, but your food is not refined enough. What is this, just a plate of Jollibee? Splat. No is worry, says the Philippines. Cook better and impress you. Later that day. Do you want me to die and contract diabetes? What did you do to this food? Oh, that's what the Philippines did to this food. Well, that's one way to at least make it taste different. Probably better, I'm not gonna lie, but you will contract diabetes and die instantly. That's how the Philippines make their cuisine better. I do love that at the annual Cool Asian Cuisines qualifiers, the judge is clearly Thailand. I mean, generally speaking, in the region, everyone says that Thai food is the best. In fact, for most expats that are trying to live in the ASEAN nations, the biggest selling point for Thailand is their food. For the Philippines, it's not so much. Historically, they don't, I mean, it all depends on your taste buds, but a lot of people just prefer Thai cuisine over Filipino. I don't know, but maybe Jollibee is changing all that. I've noticed something all across the world. Generally, if you're like an island type nation, you're gonna make your food just a lot sweeter. It's probably easier to grow sugar. Maybe that's why. But I also like Vietnamese cuisine too, though. I love pho. Sweet, fried, and vinegar. The trinity of Filipino cuisine. Having no spices does to an MFer. I mean, is it surprising now to anyone that the Europeans were so desperate for spices? The Filipino flag flip when angry. I like that. Oh, like the war flag. It really did flip, man. That is such a cool little detail. This is the Filipino war flag. When they're at war, supposedly they flip the flag. I love Japanese, and I love anime. Speaking French, vive la France. I love America. I love capitalism. Oh, but they do not love China, that's for sure. In fact, I think the big reason why Vietnam loves Japan, France, and the USA so much right now is it's actually fueled just by their hatred of China. I mean, they really didn't love these two places about 50 years ago. You could probably throw Japan in that too, especially considering what the Japanese did to Vietnam during World War II. That's what makes this comic so clever, is that the first three nations Vietnam despised not that long ago, but now there's really only one nation that Vietnamese really despise. And is this really a shocker? I mean, none of these three countries at the top play any sort of role in the region anymore. I mean, Japan's up in their islands. Japan's the closest nation to Vietnam. France is just back in Europe. They don't really do much in Southeast Asia anymore. And then, well, yeah, the USA, we just got our tariffs. For most countries in the region, especially the Southeast Asian nations, anyone in ASEAN, this is the #1 enemy. It is China. I mean, maybe not for Thailand. That's the only argument. Vietnam pretty much has forgiven Japan, France, and America for their crimes against Vietnam, yet not China. Why? Because to Vietnam, China is the eternal enemy for centuries. Yes. Japan, France, and the USA were only enemies as of the last like 100 years, but China, they've been beefing for millenniums. Taiwan is barely out of frame, patiently waiting for their turn for Vietnam to drop by. I'm sure Vietnam is going to cozy up to Thailand at some point. Most people don't know that China invaded Vietnam in 1979. They invaded Vietnam a lot more times than just that too. I'll tell you that if you go further enough back in history. How is my favorite puppet? You keep doing what I tell you to do. You don't want to remember what I'm capable of, right? Well, what do you know, says Thailand. The prideful province ending up becoming funny crap country. Told you you're nothing without I. Remembers when you were my bitch? Thanks, Laos. You really know how to cheer me up just by staring at you. It reminds me of no matter how much I am just a shell of my former glorious self, I can look into the past and at least I was a mighty conqueror and not a filthy doormat to everyone else. Holy crap, Myanmar, chill. And then they called me unwanted bootleg Mexico again. Wish was like you and preserve my heritage with neighbors so I'm not stuck in ASEAN laughingstock. You must have it so nice, says the Philippines. I don't think that's how Laos feels. Yes, is nice. Laos is in a very unfortunate position. I mean, obviously they're a landlocked country, which does not make things really easy at all. They're surrounded by Vietnam, Thailand, and Cambodia. Oh, don't forget China too. Maybe this comic was written a couple years ago. Maybe it was before the Myanmar Civil War. You might rather be Laotian than Burmese right now, but Laos has just struggled for a while. Again, because they're landlocked, and don't forget there's a bunch of unexploded mines mines still or bombs/mines still in Laotian territory, thanks to the US during the Vietnam War. They was pretty much obliterated, and they weren't even really a part of the whole thing, so that sucked. The only landlocked Southeast Asian country, everyone, even its capital sounds like its neighbor. I actually didn't even think about that. That does kind of look like Vietnam. It's probably not pronounced like that, though. Good job, you made me feel empathy for Countryballs. Are you happy? Laos certainly isn't. What's this? Indonesia likes what it sees. Is that the durian fruit or something like that? Indonesia's in love with Papua New Guinea. Oh my god, they're a family. Oh no, Australia don't. Australia's just gonna give them a bunch of Aussie dollars. Ka-ching! No! Average day for an Indonesian, I guess. Their heart is broken, but what's this? It's Thailand. Oh, Thailand, I don't think, Thailand, you might be cool with that, but yeah, Indonesia definitely is not. You know what's funny? You could replace, I know this is Indonesia, but they look awfully like Poland. I'm pretty sure Poland would have the same thought. Yeah, there's certainly certain ASEAN nations that are going to be cool with, well, gay marriage or same-sex relationships a lot more than others. Indonesia typically is not one of them. I mean, it depends. Thailand is one of the only Asian countries that will actually perform a same-sex marriage, but that was only as of this year. Taiwan did it all the way back in 2019. But do keep in mind this part of the map. Well, part of that is Indonesia, but this is Malaysia and Brunei. That's why they're showing up here. You apparently go to jail if you do that stuff here. And part of Indonesia, I guess, is very much against it, or they have no, or most of the country has no say about the whole matter. Possibly Thailand, Taiwan, and the Philippines are a lot more casual about it. So yeah, this really highlights the divide of the region. I'm confused though about this. Like, so is this is clearly a boy. He has a blue ribbon. So is Indonesia not a boy too? Like, or what the heck? But this is showing, I'm not sure what the heck. I think this is supposed to be a pink bow, to be honest. And then Thailand comes in as a boy because what? Yeah, this might possibly be China's reaction to the whole thing. I don't know. ASEAN canon to the meetings of EU? ASEAN canon to meetings of EU! Is apparent that ASEAN is met the EU, but how we go there? Limo, only the glorious and best sultan, which Brunei something. Singapore and Brunei are the rich and can limo. Am not limo lend, you make it dirty late. If they no give limo to us, how ASEAN no do travel? Other cannot into car. Hey, idea, what if only got motorcycle? Huh? I smell kebab. Classic ASEAN nations with their cycle of motors here. Just strapping everyone and everything they can onto the back. Well, Papua New Guinea trying to join in, but they can't join yet. Funny enough, we have all 10 members here too. It's Thailand and the Philippines and Brunei and Laos and Indonesia, Malaysia, Myanmar, Singapore, Vietnam, and Cambodia in the front. They're all going to the EU headquarters. It's kind of beautiful. This is probably the mode of transportation if they had to choose, even though Brunei and Singapore, the two of the richest, would probably be able to use their like private jet or something. They all can't afford that though. Oh no, Taiwan! There's a tropical depression in our area. Oh, that's just the Philippines. Psh. I was so alarmed, but it's actually just this unintentional situational pun. Always hilarious being suffering because they're not you. Wow, put me out of my misery. Yes, the Filipinos, the tropical depression. They are tropical, and I guess a lot are depressed. Wow, kind of sad, but I guess Vietnam and Taiwan can get their laughs out of it. Feels wrong. Rather tropical depression than tundra depression, I suppose. Yeah, they have AK-47s. Is that the Russians? Ah, yes, Philippines, the typhoon barrier. Again, like I said at the very beginning, check that first link in the description down below to makeship.com. We got the Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam. They will unfortunately be gone forever, and it will be sad. I'm gonna cry one day. One day. Not when they're gone, I'll cry, but not yet. Thank you to my patrons this month. Drew seems like the kind of guy who never loses the remote. Drew's Argentinian Trust Fund, RIP Grandpa. Drew Supremacy League. Alexander the Terrible. Carmel S. Connor Pavlik. Douche Baggins. Frederick Tiblin. King. Bear Hayes. Luxembourg Lover. Miglu. The Goat. Nolan. Nord Tyrol. And Tambrin.